All right, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at our main event, our big final bout of the evening. Would you welcome to the red corner, Shah Hussain? And would you welcome into the blue corner, Terry Brazier? Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event of the evening. The professional MMA welterweight interim title. And you can watch it live now on dappergrappler.com. Over 3 5-minute rounds. In the red corner, he weighed in at 169 pounds. He represents Team Crossface, Shah Hussain! And in the blue corner, he weighed in at 169.7 pounds. He represents NFM, Terry Brazier! Your referee, Dan Mulvahady.
And it is main event time here at the LFC for the welterweight professional interim title. One of these two exceptional martial artists will walk away the winner tonight with the strap. Terry Brazier from NFM Windsor in the blue corner connects big time against Shah Hussain from Crossface in the red. Shah as tough and durable as they come, Dean. But the man they call the Dominator hit the gold mine right from the get-go.
Shah, very tough customer, ate that shot up like it was lunch, but he is a wizard on the ground coupled with power. Terry needs to be careful about leaving his arm out there in the guard. Watch Shah, very, very tough jiu-jitsu customer. Terry, very savvy though, been working with some excellent coaches, as we know, Kenny Morrison, Dean Amister, and Eddie Cohn, and he's tearing up the UK scene.
So, the Dominator able to light the fuse from the get-go, but Shah Hussain is an animal on the ground. So Brazier being methodical here, Dean.
Terry Brazier showing what he's good at, the great level changes now. He's looking to pass his leg through, his right knee through, and do some damage, looking for the TKO finish. He doesn't want Shah to set away as he takes the back.
And this is where Brazier, in a recent performance, was able to secure the finish, catching the body triangle. This will be a feather in his cap to submit Shah. Shah is super, super technical, but he got rocked early in this round, and I still think Brazier not letting him off the hook in any way, shape, or form.
Swarming his opponent. Brazier now relentless from the top, using that body triangle very well, Chris. You see his legs now in the triangle position across the body that will attach him to Shah and also serve to stop the breathing of his opponent. Terry is looking for this finish, Chris. He's looking for the TKO here.
And he knows he's got Shah really in dark territory. Terry Brazier, though, possibly gonna have to think about making some adjustments as Shah escapes and gets on top. Able to pry open the guard now of the Dominator, and he goes to work.
Now Shah is no slouch on the ground. Team Crossface, David Lee, ex-UFC fighter, coming from the Icon Jiu-Jitsu team. Very tough, very technical and dominant.
And also Eric Paulson's CSW system. So those guys have got everything from the kimono to no-gi covered with an exclamation mark. Shah, a very high-level purple belt, and also very experienced in MMA. He's got the edge in pro experience, so the Dominator now having to work and try and scramble out of this position as Shah is passed and now in crucifix from the top. Brazier looking to walk up along the fence and pop out the back door.
This is Shah's pedigree here, jiu-jitsu. He's going to look to stay on top, but Brazier explodes out of the position. Now Shah is on his back.
And bonsai Terry Brazier, the Dominator, back on the feet and looking for that home run. You can see him winding up on that right hand. But into the half guard of Hussain. Suffocating pressure from Brazier.
Brazier on the top, using the underhook and head pressure. You see his elbow down on the head, trying to pin Shah, make him flat. That's exactly what Terry Brazier wants. He doesn't want Shah to turn on his side and start to think about pulling guard, standing up against the cage, or perhaps sweeping.
Nice pressure from Brazier and solid body work. I think that rocked Hussain again, but that guy's got a chin made of titanium.
Brazier now working the knees in, very hard knees. Shah lifting that leg up, looking for the outside trip. Gotta be careful about landing on the bottom.
And Brazier, an opportunistic continuation of the assault as he looks to try and get out here of half. Man, this has been a fight. This has been a fight, and it's Brazier with the downward elbows. Hussain holding on for dear life to try and get back to full guard, and he does so successfully.
Very calm, collected on the bottom, utilizes the distance. Shah pulled Terry close to him that enabled him to move underneath, and more importantly, Chris, limit the damage. If you see now Shah on the bottom, he's controlling the wrists of Terry. Terry has devastating power. Shah's not gonna let him, he's going for the armbar. Triangle attempt here on the bottom by Shah.
Shah Hussain going for that armbar, but Brazier shrugs it off. What a fight we have got going down here tonight in the LFC. Shah explodes, and the Dominator lights again that right hand, that nuclear missile.
Shah, oh, he eats another shot, he looks rocked, goes in for the shot,
and boom goes the dynamite. Brazier connection one more time. Man, what a fight, what a round. We are now going into the second round, and I really cannot believe what has just transpired here. Everybody loving this one. A classic fight here on a classic night of mixed martial arts. Round two.
Terry again, as promised, catches the leg, looking to stay on top. Shah on the bottom, working, getting his knee. You see he got his left knee in there to create some distance now into the full guard position. Terry's got to be careful about leaving his arms out there because Shah is very savvy with the armbar, looking to cinch it up tight. This looks very tight, Chris.
And he's cranking the arm home. Brazier looking to try and pop out. And he does! Whoa!
Wow, Brazier used his legs to lever Shah back, and Shah let go of the arm, but now Shah on top.
That was crazy, man. That looks so deep. But you got to remember, Terry Brazier, a former soldier. I mean, this guy trained so hard. This is his dream. And I know that he will leave everything here in the ring, but right now it's Hussain who has secured possibly the best position of this fight. Grapevine in, full mount for Shah Hussain.
Shah Hussain, this is his bread and butter. Very dominant from this position. He will look to control, pepper shots in, and then rise up for the finish. Very strong power, like piston-like punches to the body from Shah Hussain. Terry needs to start thinking about escaping. He needs to let go of the head, Chris, create some space with his hips.
And Shah, no doubt, gonna look to try and get a little bit higher here. What he's looking to do is probably try to get Brazier to unlock that palm-to-palm grip. Brazier, though, probably trying to hold on and get a stand-up, Dean.
Very difficult on the bottom. You see Shah's grapevine his legs on the inside and the outside of Terry's legs, kept him attached and pointed in that position. Terry needed to outstep, walk his foot to his rear end and try to work the sweep. But now they get a stand up. Let's see if Terry can implement the punches. But Shah is moving his head a lot more, Chris, off the center line. In those exchanges, he's not leaving his head as a stationary target.
Well, we are now back at close range. And it's Brazier who gets this man down.
Shah Hussain on his back. We know he's very dangerous, looking to set up the triangle. If he looks, he'll sit with his left hand on the inside of the bicep of Terry. He'll try and sneak his leg in, but Terry sensed that. You see, folding him up against the cage, stacked him up. He's got to be careful about leaving his arms out there because we've seen the armbar attempts are vicious from Shah.
And certainly a couple of near finishes there, courtesy of Team Crossface. And again, throws up the legs. A Hail Mary from Shah Hussain, but Brazier stuffs it. And looking to stand and pass is the man they call the Dominator. Active hips from Hussain, though. You know, it's a sign of a veteran MMA fighter. Never static when on your back.
Comes through adversity every day in training. When it translates to a fight, he's calm and collected. Perhaps looking for the hip bump sweep, looking for the Kimura setup. You see he's fed that figure four in. He's going to look to crank that arm now. Very difficult from that side control position, particularly up against the cage.
And Brazier frames it up and stuffs it in. Excellent defense from Terry Brazier. And this will be deadly territory one more time if he can get those elbows going. But look at that, Brazier opts to try and pass here and get away from the legs. I think that's very smart. I think a couple of times Shah's been able to threaten when the legs are in the mix, get him out of the mix, and then get the punches going. But look at this, Shah looking to hit the switch and try and wrestle. Granby roll from Hussain, and again nullified by the Dominator. What a fight, what a fight.
Brazier again on the top, beautifully passed. I love the way there. He could have been in danger from a triangle and he sensed the way to go. Now he sits inside control. He is able to control and dictate what he does next.
So, we are here over the midway point of this contest. Brazier on top. And both fighters have been thrown into adversity and just seem to be able to keep on charging forward.
Shah very active off his back. He's utilizing the overhooks well. Controlling the wrists and the arm of Terry is key. Now look at this, the armbar switches his hips round. Again, Terry looks to roll around and use his legs to try and pry Shah backwards to make him release the arm.
And what Terry is looking to do is get his elbow clear of the hips.
The arms, okay, Shah let go of the arm there. If he controlled the arm, that could have been very dangerous. But Terry, again, very scrambled, but he looks like he's going for the triangle to armbar. But Terry sees that, flicks the heads off, and passes into side control.
Outstanding work there from Terry Brazier. The end of the round. Deep breaths from both men. Chris Hoekstra on the mic with Dean Midhett, my main man and verbal sparring partner along for the ride. It is Shah Hussain versus Terry Brazier.
Terry Brazier, nice head move off to the side. Looks like he's loading up for that right hand. Probes the jab out. Shah now very bouncy. Needs to be careful about leaving his head center stage. Brazier's great down the pipe.
Brazier in again to put Hussain down.
Brazier now looking to lock up the back, the knee area, the back of the knees there, Chris, and bump forward and pull the hips away from Shah. Shah looks like he's trying to threaten the guillotine there, perhaps even a go-go choke.
Yeah, he's got that pretzel grip, it looks like, Dean.
Well, he try and get all the 10 fingers in and put pressure on top of the throat, but it's not enough. Terry Brazier able to secure the takedown.
Actually, it was that 10-finger grip he swapped to, but Brazier stuck with it. Persistence has paid off.
Shah not giving up on the bottom, just showing his due diligence on the bottom there with his jiu-jitsu. If you see, he's locked up that half guard. He's utilizing his hips very well. He's controlling Terry on the bottom. He's going to look to try and stand up here.
And Hussain, again, very active off his back. But Brazier getting the squeeze. Oh no, it's Shah actually looking for an arm triangle off his back. Very tough to finish though from half guard. But it has helped him recover back to full.
Brazier putting that pressure down. But this is what we spoke about. Brazier now with his head pressure. He's on top. Let's see if he postures up to utilize strikes. And another important thing here, Chris, Terry is chilling. His weight's down. He's forcing Shah to work. Shah now looking for the triangle again, but Terry wise to that. Squares his hips off and gains his arm back on the outside of the legs of Shah.
What is evident is the squeeze from Shah, the clamp with the legs, so strong. But the lubrication at this point in the fight is a factor, Dean.
The sweat has shown to be a factor in many fights so far, but these two athletes are standing up now. Let's see if Terry can land those power punches down the pipe. Again, Shah being southpaw, it opens both fighters up to that rear kick and the power hand down the pipe.
Wow, Shah sitting now in a position where he pulls Brazier in for the triangle and goes back to the armbar. Look at the downward pressure of Brazier.
Brazier able to force his shin down into the face of Shah now and end up on top. Looking to hammer fist from the back.
In reverse mount is the dominator. And Shah Hussain continues to try and work and recover half guard. Brazier with the wrestling, Brazier with the downward force. And again, you gotta stay heavy here against Shah. You gotta use your weight. You gotta keep breathing.
Shah comes to his knees, very well looking to secure the takedown, looking for the double leg.
And Shah, no doubt, gonna try and drive forward here and put Brazier down. This is an important moment in this fight. But it's Brazier who is able to stay on top and get the better of that exchange. Terry Brazier now in the full guard. One more time of Shah Hussain. Let's see what Hussain's got.
Both fighters digging very deep, noticeably tired, breathing heavy. Shah still active on the back. He's got the overhook there. His right arm is overhooked the left arm of Terry Brazier. Looking to control the posture of Terry. Terry now postures up very well. Now we can start doing some damage. Shah quite correctly moves his hips, gains a knee, retains full guard.
And I have said this at least 5 or 6 times, but this on a night of exceptional fights, of such well-matched fights, this was a contest everybody wanted to see, and it has delivered in spades.
Shah attempting a leg lock there, but Terry wise to it, drops his pressure down, now in the half guard of Shah. Shah on the bottom needs to think about retaining that full guard, perhaps using it to try and get the top position, but Terry's so dominant. The way he clasps his arms around the arm of Shah and their head is just so much pressure. He's able to steer his body on top of Shah.
And the shoulder pressure of Brazier, the gable grip, also important there. But Shah Hussain is looking to probably throw up something one more time. Not much left though in the round though.
Shah needs to be careful about throwing those triangles up. Terry sensed him, and what he'll do is he'll shrug the leg off and use it to pass into side control.
And we're gonna stand up here, 10 seconds to go. Hussain breathing deeply, Terry also.
Terry going in, oi! Shah with a big overhand left.
Big hook lands for both men. Hussain rocked. The Dominator rocked. Both fighters embrace. What an incredible, breathtaking match.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree, a title bout that lived up to all expectations. What an incredible bout from these two men. But we do have a unanimous decision. And the interim welterweight title belt goes around the waist of the man from the blue corner, Terry Brazier.